Yes, good morning once again, and thank you for keeping it to Church of Uganda Family TV. And this is Issues at Hand. Now we come to you to speak matters that matter. Yes, out there, we always call them matters of national importance. Now, oftentimes, we live in society but find ourselves not knowing our rights, which is why here, by the way, we have a segment in Good Morning Family that talks about your rights. You as a person actually termed as know your rights. So today we're going to be specifically talking about the women's rights. It's been found that, yes, though some know their rights and they're actually advocating for them or they're even enjoying them, there could be still more that do not know their rights, and that's why you've seen violations of women. We've had so many cases of gender-based violence, so you've seen people hitting up women and vice versa. But what could be the problem? Isn't it a matter of you knowing what you're supposed to do and then live out in a free environment? So today with me is Mr. Titus Asiiwe, who is going to be taking us through this important topic, and he is an advocate, a program manager at Women Pro Bono Initiative, and I'm glad that he is our guest here, and we are going to be having discussions in that. Now, before we even start, often it has been quite a long time, and I've been having people to discuss women's rights. I've not hosted a man before to discuss these things. Well, what a privilege it is.
Thank you so much. You've not had a man come to speak for women's rights. Yeah, that's great. The fact that we're here, two of us, speaking women's rights is a very great add to the discussion. But importantly is that men have a role to play. Yeah, women's rights are not an only women affair, because women form a bigger part of the women are part of the bigger part of the population, so we coexist. So men, as we also duty bearers in many ways. We're fathers, we are brothers, we are workmates. So if there is a violation, you should actually be responsible of addressing them. The government has come up with several strategies to make sure men are involved. So I know that henceforth you will be seeing many men involved, and I interest you to be part of all this.
Of course, sure. That's a big move indeed. And it is a big call, by the way, because you find that people violating the women's rights, in most cases you find them, they are men. So if they are part of playing this, it could be a very, very important way to curb it. Now, as we kick off, what are some of the fundamental rights of women?
Thank you. Maybe before I go to that, my name is Titus Asiiwe. Thank you for having me here. I work with the Women's Pro Bono Initiative. We're located in Tinda. We're a women's rights organization, and our mandate is to make sure they are any form of discrimination against women, all categories. So now we do this through legal representation. We go to court and represent the women whose rights have been violated. We do public interest cases. Public interest cases are where one violation has happened but affects a spectrum, many women. So we go to court asking government to address the same, or asking court to pronounce itself on certain things. We also do knowledge and research sharing. And when you go on our websites, we have so many publications. So back to your question.
Okay, what are some of the fundamental rights?
Fundamental rights. Our constitution gives us rights as human beings. So the same, all rights that accrue to men are also to the women. Every right to property, right to good health, like being in a good environment, right to family, right to have children, and all other rights, right to access to health services, and all others. So, but the aspect of women, the Constitution also goes ahead to look at women as in a special way, because one of cultural injustices, historical injustices, you know that you and your sisters, of course, maybe this generation, but when you go a decade or two behind, you will find that we have not had the same opportunities.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's something called affirmative action, where we try to address those fundamental historical issues that have held our mothers and our sisters back. So in so doing, there are certain rights that have been really align to women to make sure all these they are addressed. So the Constitution went ahead and put in place measures, but all other rights that accrue to a human being are also women's rights. Yes.
Wow, that's very interesting. And now, from your experience as a person, as an advocate, how well do women know their rights, or how do some women do not know their rights? If we can strike a balance.
How women know their rights, like many other people, there is an obligation for us to create awareness of rights. I don't know if a basic Ugandan, an average Ugandan anywhere knows all the rights that are attributed to them. Not really. But also now another layer to a woman is we are talking about a woman in a village, woman, not these women in Kampala, maybe were a bit exposed. So for them, their knowledge is streamlined in culture, in religion. So what their pastor tells them is what's right. What their mother told them during their singer told them when they're going to marriages is what's right. And no, so they end up picking from other sources that are not legal minds and so doing. So not that most Ugandans, most women know their rights. There's still a lot of work to do. So a lot of work to do. But I think measures where you're going, and I thank this entity for bringing out this to understand what are your rights as a woman, as a married woman. What are your rights? Rights to conjugal rights, to conjugal interactions, rights to property. You can own your own property. Your right to have your name on the property that you've bought together. Now this is a church setting, and the things of saying if a man has brought a property, then now this is our property. But if you put in your money, you have a right to demand that your name is actually included on the property. If your husband is selling off a property as a married woman, you have a right to say no to such a transaction. Especially where you live. You understand? If you're being violated at home emotionally, the man wants to take your money. Still, we are in a church setting, but church does not in any way condone violence against our spouses. So if your man is battering you, beating you, you have a right to access redress in legal systems. Go and report so that this is addressed. So this is a great one, and there are many violations.
Wow. And if you to look at the issue of them knowing their rights, how about those who have not known their rights? What has been the challenge? Is it the problem of awareness? Is it the problem of them being stopped from accessing some information? What has been the challenge hindering the women not to know their rights?
The many. One, like we've said, the cultural settings are such that most men seem to be the omegas and
superior.
The alphas, what they say is. So they cut off that line of communication. Then the other thing is, although UPE has brought in several, many women have enrolled, but beyond that, at tertiary and above, the numbers of women is really down in education system. But also to that, there is not been enough effort to create awareness of women's rights to a local population. For example, bringing these laws and putting them in Uganda. Now we're speaking English, but there are our mothers there that form a bigger spectrum of our population, our sisters. tell them about, speak to them about menstrual health, speak to them about all issues, women's rights. So by putting this elitist kind of understanding of the laws, we cut them off in many ways. So one of the things that should be done in awareness is actually having all our laws put to our local languages. You understand? Okay. So that an average woman really understands. So there is that gap where where there is an assumption that the laws are for lawyers. The only time you interact with the laws is when you're going to court. We get cases at our offices where people do not know even the basic kind of laws. That you have a right to live with your child as a mother. We have an issue these days where fathers, if you're not in touch, or you've separated, you're staying apart, and this one is staying this way. So if you want help, they tell you, what I say is what you do. You cannot bring another man. If I ever see another man in your home, or if I ever see you going outside or doing anything without telling me, I will not give you wiyambi, I will not give you maintenance money. But even if we don't live together and we say we have a child together, you have to maintain, and you don't have to control my life. Yes. You understand? So you find that men are using children to hurt women, which is even in families. You have a right to decide to where your child goes to. It should be a joint discussion where it's a meeting of mind. So you're not seated there. Tomorrow your husband says, I think these children should now go to boarding. You have no say about it. I think you should have a say. You should have a say. Because without having a say, things start culminating to other things, You understand? Yeah, so it's a spectrum. Laws, culture, skewed, I would say skewed, religious, other entities that may not really bring out correctly the measure. The Bible is for justice. Our God is a very just God in many ways. He does not condone injustice in all angles. So it's a layer of many things that women don't.
And is the cycle being broken? Looking at it, because at the start we did mention that at least for the urban setting, women have tried to understand their rights and all that. So for the people in that rural setting, because we understand when growing up in a village, a woman is taught to be submissive at any given cost, which is not bad, by the way, though people misinterpret what submissive could mean. So is the cycle being broken at even those levels? Because I understand here, this side, the woman can have a say and say, my child will, it is not a matter of you deciding to take them to boarding or not. We can agree, depending on the available resources and the circumstances. So, to the villages, is the cycle being broken off? This is a man, what he says is what is done.
Yeah, I think that the fight for liberty, for self-determination has been a fight for as long as human beings have lived. Even if we went back to the Bible, you know, when Moses is distributing, giving out properties after getting to Canaan and everything, there are those girls that come. Their father had died, they had no male heir. They come and say, you cannot disenfranchise us because we are girls. Give us the portion of our father. Yes, we are girls, but give us a portion of our father. So these ladies are very great ladies in the Bible. So the same, even now, women out there have started. Most of them are in the markets. They're doing small businesses. They're getting a little bit of agency here and there. They're buying properties and putting land in their names. But there is a fight. There are women trying to self-regulate in many ways. But now that's also hindered still with the settings at village levels. You know, you're part of the community. The LC. If your husband tells you, if I tell my wife, I don't want you waking up in the morning going to work to the market. You should first go dig in this garden where all your co-wives take food. Then give them some of this food, then go to work. If you refuse, what are you going to do? The other recourse, you may not even know how to go to police or what. Then you're going to the LC. LC will tell you, why are you not being submissive to your husband? Then before now you're being beaten, and some of our police, not every police, but I've interacted with some officers at children and family units. They're also from our communities. The woman comes, they have been beaten, their money, the money they made has been taken, and they are going into counseling. Like, now you see, if you don't want to be beaten, please give all the money. The man is the head of the home, so whatever she wants, you give, and everything. It's still so that becomes a blockage. Where do you run for refuge? So the struggle is on, but now there are many things that we have to address at the local settings and the legal frameworks.
Okay. What are the most common forms of violations these women do face?
Violations of women are very many, and they come in very many layers. One of them are under the domestic violence, violences in homes, domestic violence. Some of these are assaults. Women are still being beaten. 21st century, that a man gets a stick and beats a fellow human being. I really don't understand, but it's happening. Our 2023 police report showed that over 10,000 cases were reported by women, domestic violence related cases. Only 3,000 were from men. So there's a difference over 7,000. So I understand when people say, men, we're also big, but you can see the gap, a very big gap. So these women are still being beaten. Women are being killed. There's a case from the West recently where a government official, man who is an HR, is locked out and beaten and starved to death. The women are also being harassed at workplaces. You are in this office, you're from university, you want this job, the manager is a man, your colleagues. So everyone is looking at you as something to get and hold and use. So before you know, this one is telling you words. You come from home telling yourself, I'm going to work, but God help me today. You see, land violence. The cases of land violence, for example. A woman where you were born, when you leave, they tell you, go to your husband. So in cases like your land here, you have nothing now left here. They tell you again that where you gave you over. So after then, now in the marriage, if there are issues, the man is telling you again, the woman, go back to your. Or if the man dies, the family is telling you, go back to your clan, you don't belong here. So you find the woman in just in the middle, nothing. The other violations I think the government needs to really address quickly is women in cohabitation kind of unions. You know that very much we are mostly a religious country. Most of our people are in unions that are not legally recognized. They are cohabiting, but they have not legalized their marriage, and these people are not protected by the law. So you live with a man for 30 years. I have a case of 100. These people have lived together for 40 years. The man is telling the woman that leave. This one, but where should I go? I've lived with you all these years. And the man is saying, I don't know, go to your home. But I left many years ago from home. How do I reunite? I've lived my life here. Saying leave. Then, court recourse, they are trying to go to court. Court is saying you're just friends. You understand? You're just friends. Wow. So you find those kind of issues. We also have violations. Defilement, rape. There's still rape happening in our homes and defilement. We still have issues of teenage pregnancies and child marriages. People are still marrying off young children. You understand, which I do not understand. There are issues of trafficking. Our girls are still trafficked to the Gulf. Like, there are several companies and illegit people taking people out of the country. We have people taken from villages. They are working in saunas. They are working in spas. They are, you know, these days in Kampala, I want you to be cautious about it. Every corner there is a spa. There is spa. Go and see in those spas. They are really young girls. Most of them are brought from, you come from wherever you, for example, get you from Budaka, you come, they're telling you there is this job and what. When you reach, this is what you have to do. You don't want to go back to the village. Before you know, you're being sexually violated in these places, and there's nowhere you're going to report. You are in a very big gated place. Where do you start from? So there are many violations happening in those cases. So if I want to report such a case and I'm a girl, I'm in this sauna, I'm in this spa working, where do I go? Our laws say that go to the labor officer or go to police, but you just don't understand this whole structure. Even some people have found victims of trafficking. They were just moving on the road and crying, and someone asked what happened, that I was sexually assaulted. Then they call our offices. They don't know. You ask them, where were you from? Where was the home in which you were working? They don't know even the home. They don't know Kampala. They were brought. So we have our girls, we have our women, girls brought in the villages working as maids in our homes. People watching me, you have maids, you have maids working in your homes. Your sons are violating them. You yourself, you're giving them a 50,000 for salary. When they break plates, you reduce that money. When they annoy you, you reduce that money. You take 3 years, you take 3 months without paying them. You beat them up. And you know, you see, when you get someone from one place to another and employ them, and then you restrict their movement because you're telling them you cannot go out, you need my permission, you're forcing them to do HIV tests. Those are all violations. So if you take someone and you start, you take away their agency in that place, they cannot move out whenever they want. You're a trafficker, and you should be arrested. So in those homes we go to, those young girls you're seeing who are taking care of you, some of them are young. Our laws and the Children's Act, 16 years and below, really, there are jobs you cannot be doing. So you cannot get a 14-year-old taking care of your children, washing plates, running around, doing everything. This is still a child. You cannot have them subjected to all that. So all those are violations happening around us. Several.
Quite a number of them. And very unfortunate indeed that we are having such in our nation with the numerous policies we are having and all that. But well, we are continuing with the discussion. Please, let's take a very short break and we return with more.
Issues at hand. Issues at hand.
Oh yes, welcome back. You are still watching Issues at Hand, and we are discussing women rights violations and action to be taken. That's what we have discussed now. We are talking about the rights and how their rights have been violated. And now let us look at what can be done, because I understand if I am to look at my time, we have very few minutes left to the hour. So, Mr. Titus, this time round, I want us to center much on what can be done. So when these women realize their rights are being violated and all that, what legal avenues are there for them? Where do they report things like that?
Well, we have the laws that provide redress for some violations. We have the Domestic Violence Act, where you're being emotional abused or physical abused, you can actually go to court and also seek protection order. People don't know that you may be in this home, but the man has become so violent and you need some distance. So there's a possibility of you getting the protection order from your offender. So, but there are also other laws like the Trafficking in Persons Act that provides if someone is a victim of trafficking, you can go you can go to police and also to court. We have the penal code that provides for offenses of rape, defilement, and yeah. So, but the avenues, the first avenues where your rights are being violated, especially if it's a criminal nature, you're being beaten, you're being harassed, go to police. At police, the family and children and family protection units, they're always around the corner somewhere. There is an officer in charge of that specific issue. So if you're not, if there's a problem, please go to police. It's, you see, especially our culture and our religion has made us think that you see, if you cannot go and report matters, but you can actually if your life is in danger. So but if issues of children, there are probation and welfare officers in our places, wherever you are. You can always reach out to them for redress. But now there are also legal aid providers around. We have the Women Pro Bono Initiative. We have the Uganda Law Society. At Makere, there's PILAC. There's justice centers. So you can always look for people, especially if you're indigent and you cannot. But there are also other religious leaders that you can go to and say, Pastor, really, this is happening, but I want you to help me get a legal redress. Yes. In so doing. So that's some of the things that you should we should be doing. But the other important aspect that now this is for all of us to address some of these issues and get recourse is the aspect of male engagement. Have you heard of male engagement?
Male engagement?
Male engagement. Male engagement is a concept where men they are helped to understand issues of sexual reproductive health, issues of violations against women. So what we do is we teach you, man, yourself to go and seek out services. I don't know, when did you last check for like your body health and what? Yeah, you see, men are not seeking out these services. Men have their mental illness issues. Yes, you're overworking for your family, but you're not going out to seek for medications. You only go to hospitals when you're sick. The population that goes to Mulago, most of them are women, because for them it's easier for them to go and seek. Men go few, and those that go few, actually not many come out, because whenever you go, you are like so totally badly off. So in male engagement, we teach men to go out and seek services. Go out and seek services. Do you know that men also have a potential of getting breast cancer? Yes, breast cancer. You can, among us all, we know prostate cancer, but even those small breasts also can, like, go and check out yourself. Go and treat your STDs and STIs as a man, because we can say everything about women. Women can go and do this. Your partner can go and get medication and everything. But if you yourself, you've not worked on that, then you're going to keep infesting, but then you'll have a fight. So that's aspect of male engagement. But also male engagement is for you to know your responsibilities as a man, that you're a duty bearer. You cannot keep on violating or see people violating. If you're in your workplace here and you see an intern, a young girl, your colleague is doing something, you cannot keep quiet. If you're moving and border men are harassing a woman, you cannot just pass and laugh it off. You have a right to, you have an obligation to stop and tell them this is not right. You need to stop it. If your neighbor is beating a wife every day, you cannot just say that that's their family issue. I cannot get involved. No, you ought to go and speak, because most men here, when men speak, you understand. So under male engagement, we teach men to be involved. You cannot keep a blind eye. People whenever we say this, we say we use this connotation that maybe tomorrow it may be your sister, your mother. Even if it's not your sister or your mother or your child, every other person is worth a protection. Yeah, regardless, because they are human beings. Yeah, created in the image of God.
That's very true. So how best can we keep empowering or educating things like that to these women who may not be knowing their rights, especially that one in the rural area?
Let's continue doing this. Let's put it in Luganda, our local language, Lugisu, Lusoga, and everything. Let's speak the language people hear. This is not England. So let's like talk to their languages, let them know. I'm happy that people are doing this. Because I know one woman knows, the other has learned something today. Also, yes, let's talk their languages. Let's make materials that are in their languages. Let's empower our law enforcers, for them not to continue violating. Someone goes to police, then they ask you, hey, why are you here? Why are you here? Did your auntie, you call your auntie, you call what? Those law enforcers should also be taught. IGP, your women at those family and children protection units should be taught, reoriented on women's rights. Yes, because there is an issue there that we need to address. We need also to engage men, like I said. Yes. Talk to your brothers, mothers, talk to your sons. If your son is violating their wife, because maybe your daughter-in-law is not able to produce children, then you say, hey, let's get another wife. Oh, you cannot stay here. We need you see, you don't be a woman violating another woman's rights in another way. No, you can't do that. So let's engage so if your son is treating wrongly another woman, you should be the one as a mother. You have a duty to call your son to order. I know that I listen to my mother so much. My mother called me this morning and told me, do not go to that TV show. I would actually first want to listen more. I'm not saying that I would just stop, but that would be something. So men listen to their mothers. So mothers out there, please take charge. Don't look at your sons in homes abusing rights of maids, going online saying stuff, and you're not raining on them. Please, you have a charge. Let's revise our laws. We have the marriage bill that we've been fighting for long to have it passed. It has some good aspects in it. For example, teenage, early marriage, child marriages, which is wrong even to call it a marriage. It's defilement. You understand? So, but we have not had a law that comes out to really pin these offenders. In most cases, we use the Trafficking Act, we use the Penal Code, but now that leaves out other people, like people who celebrate these marriages, people who attend these marriages, people who facilitate these marriages. So there's no, but now the Marriage Act comes out clearly to the Sexual Offences Bill. The Marriage Act comes out and says, speaks to like the marriage, like the legal marriage. We know marriage 18 years and above. But now the Sexual Offences Bill comes out to like say, bring a penalty for early marriages, child marriages. Yes, so an express a section and a penalty for it. So Sexual Offences Bill should be passed to protect women, and the Marriage Act and many other good laws that are still in place. Yeah.
Do we still have a gap in our policies?
Yeah, there are many gaps. Like I've told you that if yesterday you found a young girl being married off at 16, you have a long way to extract a case out of the Penal Code or the Trafficking Persons Act, because why? The law will not get the pastor or the leaders who are doing that. You will want, when you go to court, they want to show if really this marriage happened, because now you're going under defilement, was there sexual intercourse. But some of these people, it's unespoused, some espoused, when you bring them, the child is there until maybe they are of some age. So there are different forms. So there are gaps around those areas. There are gaps, now this one, there are gaps. I don't know what you believe in. Do you believe that if you're married, that's all, you cannot get out, even if you're being beaten or someone wants to kill you?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
If it is not working, step off.
Yes, there are things that really God doesn't put together, and someone should put them asunder if they are killing each other. So there are, now in our laws, for you to go out and seek like redeem yourself from some marriages, you need to show grounds. You need to show that they are beating me, they are battering me, show evidence, and some of the things are done behind the curtains. No one gets them, and also the legal system is very expensive. For a woman to go and report a case, it's hard. For if you hear someone's being violated here, to go out there and go to the labor office, then go to the labor court and everything, it's expensive. So the issue of commercialization of the legal process is also really hard for us. That should be addressed in many ways.
Okay, what do you think are some of the practical actions that can be taken majorly by communities, leave alone the legal people or the government, we the community members ourselves? Because I believe this is where everything starts from.
The cardinal rule, love yourself as love your neighbor as you love yourself. You cannot hurt yourself, so you don't hurt your neighbor. Be your brother's keeper. Be your brother's keeper. Like be your brother's keeper and be your sister's keeper in all ways. So do not be a violator at all levels. Then at community levels, the other thing is like, let's group out together. If you know someone who really understands this, makes those small committees together, fighting against injustices, fighting against land grabbing. If a woman is, for example, if a woman, you've seen this woman has been married for all these years, the husband has died, and the family is chasing them away. You as a community, clearly, you can stop this. So it should be your responsibility to say no as a community, to look at injustice as what it is. You get. Then for you to also, as a community, reach out to policymakers. Like you have, your voice should be heard. There are things, when we are in court and speaking about cultures and norms, one thing that we always prove is a practice that has happened for long, like for years, but also being practiced by many other people. But now, with time, these things change. What we used to do in 18s, we don't do them now. You get? So things are changing. So if your culture, they say that a girl cannot inherit, really, that was then because of their issues. But now, a girl can inherit, can come after you, can handle your legacy as much as anyone can do. So but also at community level, engage each other in those LC meetings. Let's empower the secretaries in charge of children affairs. Those ones, they have been dormant of late. Let them look out to these violations. They let them go beyond where the eyes of law can reach out. Churches, it's not about people coming, listening to the good gospel and going home to tears and what. Like, look through the eyes of people and help them speak against some of these vices broadly. Like, you know, our people come to our church and listen to us. They really listen to us. When you speak about a vice, they will be able to come out. Like, do not be afraid of saying certain things that will help your people. And if a violation is happening in church, like, take someone as an example, because we have some other religious entities where some violations have really happened, but because you want to cover a brother, now you cover a brother goes on and does something else, you cover a brother, before you know, people are losing lives, and many girls are being violated. So the religious leaders should really come out and say certain things and speak out on those pulpits for social justice. Cultural leaders, our leaders, you know, we have just had the Kabaka run, where you see he is out there being a champion of against HIV. Those are very good measures. So our cultural leaders, down those levels, at community levels, like mubereba sale mu nsonga ya eddembe ly'abakyala, but do not be silent. If there is a woman being beaten in her home, if there is a woman who goes out to the market, sells their product, and the man takes the money to drink and marry other women, like if there is a woman who is being stopped to work, there is a woman whose child is being taken away, you can't be quiet.
All right. Wow, that has been very, very important and fundamental. I believe we are all going to be champions now. Yes, I understand some questions coming in. How about the boy child? You had the male engagement. That's where things come in, because once you're taught the other way, you cannot come out and start violating women. Well, Mr. Titus, as we conclude, could you kindly give us your parting shots? Because I see the minutes have really elapsed.
Now, my parting shot is a call to everyone to come out and fight for women's rights. Many of our mothers and our sisters cannot have the same opportunities that we have. I'm currently doing a master's in population and reproductive health at School of Statistics. But you know, here, primary, secondary, there are many female students and what. But when it comes to that level, masters and PhD, you know why? Because women are in homes, are being
responsibilities,
what, you know. So let's all accord the women all these opportunities. If you're a man out there, like allow, it's not even allowing, they're entitled to, your wife is entitled to work, entitled to have to like engage, associate with others. They are not your babies, they are not your child, to fertilize them. So we need to all of us, we need to do our work. Talk to your neighbor, talk to your fellow man, be a champion in a way or the other. If you're a religious leader, be a champion. If you're a policymaker in that seat, that small seat that you're in, just because your family, everything is okay, do not propagate violations again. Like, be a custodian of the law and really address it. Leave your biases at home. Yes, you leave your cultural biases at home, sit in that seat and dispense justice.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Titus Asiiwe. It has been very, very important discussion, and of course, coming to you there, I hope you uptake or undertake the discussions that have been delivered here, and all those things that matter a lot. The violations of women, you can't stop, because as we've heard, it is a collective responsibility of everyone. It's not about women coming up to fight for themselves. When actually they come out to fight for themselves, then we have failed. because actually you're supposed to create a very smooth environment for each and every person around you. I want to appreciate you for joining us this morning. We cannot go past this. My name is Luke Majumba Lenaitwe. Have a lovely day.